Welcome, everyone. In this session, we're going to cover some really practical and important concepts in digital marketing. We'll be talking about landing pages, how to integrate your lead data with tools like Google Sheets and Excel, and we'll also touch on a very interesting topic, the Andromeda update and what it means for your ad creatives. Whether you're just getting started or looking to sharpen your skills, this session has something valuable for you. Let's dive right in. The session kicks off with a very practical check-in. How many students were actually able to build their landing page before class? This is a common starting point in digital marketing training because a landing page is really the foundation of any paid ad campaign. A landing page is a standalone web page. It's not your homepage. It's a focused page designed for one specific goal. That goal is usually to capture a visitor's information through a form or to get them to take a specific action. The instructor is reminding students that even if they couldn't finish the full page, they can still work on the strategy. And importantly, the landing page URL is what you'll use later for tracking, so getting this built is a critical first step. Before getting into the more advanced topics, the instructor makes it clear that the first thing on the agenda is understanding the Facebook pixel. Now, what exactly is a pixel? Think of it as a tiny invisible tracker. It's a small snippet of JavaScript code that you place on your website or landing page. Once it's there, it starts recording what visitors do. Did they visit the page? Did they fill out a form? Did they make a purchase? All of that data gets sent back to Facebook. And why does that matter? Because Facebook uses that data to optimize who sees your ads. The more data your pixel collects, the smarter Facebook's algorithm gets at finding people who are likely to convert. So understanding the pixel is absolutely foundational before you run any serious ad campaign. Now, let's talk about one of the most practical topics in this session, how to get your Facebook lead form data into a spreadsheet automatically. This is a question that comes up a lot. When someone fills out your lead form on Facebook, where does that data go? By default, it stays inside Facebook, but you can connect it to Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel so the data flows directly into your spreadsheet in real time. Here's how the process works. First, you create your Facebook lead form. Once the form is created, Facebook gives you an access token, essentially a connection code. You take that code and use it to link your form to either Google Sheets or an Excel file. From that point on, every time someone fills out your form, their information automatically appears in your spreadsheet. The instructor explains there are two main options. One is using Facebook's own internal spreadsheet system, and the other is connecting to an external tool like Google Sheets or MS Excel using that connection code. The instructor also walks through how to manually download your lead data directly from Facebook, in case you haven't set up an automatic integration yet. The process is straightforward. After you've created and published your lead form, you go into the form settings and look for the download option. It's usually labeled something like Meta Leads or shown as a list icon. When you click download, Facebook gives you a complete Excel file with all the leads who have filled out your form. That file will include every field you set up: names, phone numbers, emails, and any custom questions you added. One thing to be aware of, sometimes the download button doesn't appear right away, especially if there's a slow internet connection or a loading issue. The instructor mentions this happening during the live session, so don't panic if you don't see it immediately. Just refresh and try again. To make this really clear, let's compare the two options side by side. Option 1 is the internal Facebook approach. Your lead data stays inside Facebook's ecosystem. You can access it through the Lead Center and download it as an Excel file whenever you need it. It's simple and requires no extra setup. Option 2 is the external integration approach. Here, you use an access token, that connection code Facebook provides, to link your form directly to Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel. Once that connection is made, every new lead automatically appears in your spreadsheet without you having to manually download anything. The instructor's recommendation is to try both. They both work, and depending on your workflow, one might suit you better than the other. For teams managing high volumes of leads, the automatic integration is definitely more efficient. Now, let's talk about the Andromeda update, a topic that came up as a question during the session. Andromeda is essentially a meta-advertising update that places a much stronger emphasis on ad creatives. In the past, you could run a campaign with just a few creatives and do reasonably well. But with Andromeda, the algorithm is now designed to reward advertisers who produce a higher volume and variety of high-quality creatives. The instructor is careful to point out that for beginners, this shouldn't be overwhelming. The core principle is simple. The better your ad creative, your copy, your images, your videos, the better your results will be. That's not new. What Andromeda does is amplify that relationship. So if your creative is strong, you'll see stronger results. If it's weak, you'll struggle more than before. Let's break down exactly what changed with Andromeda by comparing the old approach to the new one. In the old days of Facebook advertising, you could run a campaign with just a handful of creatives, maybe 1 or 2 images and a bit of ad copy, and that was enough to get decent results. The focus was more on audience targeting and campaign structure. But with the Andromeda update, that's shifted significantly. Now the algorithm heavily favors advertisers who produce a larger variety of creatives. And more specifically, it prioritizes video content over static images. Short-form videos, in particular, get a lot of attention. The instructor also mentions the importance of strong hooks, that opening moment of your video or ad that grabs attention immediately. And of course, testing and scaling your creatives remains just as important as ever. The bottom line is, more creatives, better video quality, and stronger hooks will give you a real advantage under this update. The instructor takes a moment to clearly define what ad copy actually means, because it's a term that gets used a lot but isn't always fully understood. Ad copy refers to all the written and visual content in your advertisement: the headline, the body text, the image or video, and even the call to action button. All of these elements together make up your ad copy. And the reason it matters so much is simple. Your ad copy is what determines whether someone stops scrolling and pays attention to your ad. If your copy is weak, people scroll past. If it's strong, they stop, read, and click. The instructor emphasizes that regardless of what algorithm updates come along, whether it's Andromeda or anything else, the quality of your ad copy has always been and will always be the most important factor in your campaign's success. Better copy equals better results. It's that straightforward. One of the most actionable takeaways from the Andromeda update discussion is the emphasis on short-form video content. The instructor makes it very clear that under Andromeda, video, especially short video, is being prioritized by Facebook's algorithm over static images. Why? Because video naturally drives higher engagement. People watch, react, share, and comment on videos more than they do on images. And when engagement goes up, Facebook's algorithm interprets that as a signal that your ad is relevant and valuable, so it shows it to more people. The hook, those first few seconds of your video, is especially critical. If you don't grab attention immediately, people scroll away. So when you're creating video ads, think carefully about how you open. Make it compelling, make it relevant, and make it fast. The instructor's advice is to start experimenting with short-form video ads and test multiple versions to see what resonates with your audience. Toward the end of this segment, the instructor briefly touches on a very relevant and timely topic, using AI tools, specifically Meta AI, to help create your ad copy. Meta AI is built directly into the Facebook advertising ecosystem, and it can be a genuinely useful tool for generating ad copy ideas, suggesting headlines, and helping you come up with multiple creative variations quickly. This is especially relevant in the context of Andromeda, because that update demands more creative variety. If you're struggling to come up with 10 different versions of your ad copy, Meta AI can help you brainstorm and speed up that process. However, and this is important, the instructor frames it as a helper, not a replacement. You still need to understand your audience, your offer, and your goals. AI gives you a starting point, but you need to review, refine, and make sure the copy actually speaks to the people you're trying to reach. Let's connect everything together with a really important practical point: the relationship between your landing page URL and your campaign tracking. Once you've built your landing page, you don't just paste the URL into your ad and call it done. You need to make sure your Facebook pixel is installed on that landing page so that Facebook can track what visitors do after they click your ad. You also want to add tracking parameters to your URL. These are small tags added to the end of your link that tell you exactly where your traffic is coming from. This is how you know which specific ad, which audience, or which campaign is actually driving results. The instructor emphasizes this as a final step that students should complete after building their landing page. Build the page, install the pixel, add tracking to the URL, and then you're ready to launch. Without tracking, you're flying blind. So let's pick up right where we left off and dive into one of the most important tools in digital marketing, the metapixel. Now, what exactly is a metapixel? At its core, it's a small piece of code, a snippet of JavaScript that you install on your website. Once it's there, it acts like a silent observer, tracking what visitors do on your site and sending that information back to Meta, which is the company behind Facebook and Instagram. Think of it as a bridge between your website and your Facebook ad account. Now, you might be wondering, why does this matter so much? Well, imagine running ads completely blind. Without the pixel, you have no idea who visited your landing page, who clicked your buy button, or who almost converted but left at the last second. You're essentially throwing money into the dark. But with the pixel installed, everything changes. You can see exactly what users are doing, retarget people who showed interest, and let Meta's algorithm optimize your ads toward people most likely to take action. It's the difference between guessing and knowing. Let's walk through exactly how the pixel works in practice. First, a user lands on your page, maybe your landing page, your product page, wherever you've installed the pixel. The moment that page loads, the pixel code fires silently in the background. It collects data about that visit and sends it straight to Meta servers. Meta then uses that data to build detailed audience profiles, understanding who your visitors are, what they're interested in, and how they behave. Finally, your ads are automatically optimized to reach more people just like your best customers. And the beautiful thing is, all of this happens in real time, without you lifting a finger after the initial setup.
Now, one question that comes up a lot is, can you use the pixel on a landing page? And the answer is absolutely yes. In fact, landing pages are one of the best places to use it. Your landing page URL can be linked directly to your pixel, so every visit, every click, every form submission gets tracked. And importantly, you can assign your pixel to a specific page. So if you have multiple landing pages for different products or campaigns, you can track each one separately and know exactly which page is performing and which one needs work. This level of precision is what makes the pixel so powerful for marketers.
So how do you actually get the pixel set up? The process has a few clear steps. First, you go into your Meta Business Manager or Events Manager and create your pixel. Meta will generate a unique pixel ID for you. Then you copy the base code that Meta provides. Next, you install that code onto your website or landing page. This is usually done by pasting it into the header section of your site. After that, you verify it's working correctly using a free Chrome extension called Meta Pixel Helper, which tells you in real time whether your pixel is firing. And once it's live, it starts collecting data automatically. You don't need to do anything else. It just works. When it comes to connecting your pixel to your landing page, there are actually two ways to do it. The first option is manual. When you're setting up your ad campaign, there's a tracking section where you can paste in your landing page URL. This tells Meta exactly which page to track for that campaign. The second option is even simpler. If you've already created your pixel and installed it on your landing page, Meta automatically picks it up. The pixel is already sitting on the page, so the connection happens without you needing to enter anything manually. You can also assign the pixel to specific pages if you want granular control over which campaigns track which pages. Now, let's shift gears and talk about something exciting that's been emerging in the digital marketing space: the use of AI tools to help with marketing content. One tool that's been getting attention is Manus AI. This is an AI system that has partnered with Facebook and Meta to help marketers with the creative side of their campaigns. It's a relatively new development, and it's quite significant. What Manus AI does is help you generate ad copy, the written content of your ads, quickly and at scale. Instead of sitting down and writing 10 different versions of an ad manually, Manus AI can produce multiple variations for you automatically. So what specifically can Manus AI help you with? There are 4 main areas. First, ad copy generation. It writes the actual text of your ads, and it can produce many different versions so you can test which one performs best. Second, content ideas. If you're stuck on what angle to take with a campaign, Manus AI can suggest creative directions. Third, UGC, or user-generated content ideas. This is content that looks like it came from real customers, which tends to perform very well in ads, and Manus AI can help you brainstorm those concepts. And fourth, it helps with campaign details, structuring your campaign information in a way that's clear and effective. You can find it within your meta settings or the ad copy section of your account. Let's ground all of this in something practical. Landing pages aren't one size fits all. You might build a landing page for a class or course you're running, another one for a specific product you're selling, another for a consultation booking, and yet another that shows your pricing. Each of these serves a different purpose and targets a different audience. The great thing is that you can have a separate pixel tracking each one of these pages. So when someone visits your course registration page, that data goes into one bucket. When someone visits your product page, that data goes into another. This lets you understand your audience at a very granular level and run much more targeted, effective ads. And this brings us to a really important concept: integrated digital marketing. Rather than thinking about meta ads, email marketing, website design, landing pages, and pixel tracking as separate things, the most effective approach is to combine them all into one unified strategy. Your meta pixel feeds data into your ad campaigns. Your landing pages capture leads that go into your email marketing. Your website design supports all of it. When these pieces work together, you get compounding results. Each channel amplifies the others. There's an integrated consultation service being developed that covers all of these areas together, and details will be shared with the group soon, so stay tuned for that. So continuing from where we left off, let's get into the core concept here. What exactly is Metapixel? At its simplest, Metapixel is a piece of JavaScript code that you embed into your website.
Once it's installed, it silently tracks what visitors do on your site, which pages they visit, which products they look at, whether they add something to their cart, and whether they actually complete a purchase. That tracking data then connects back to Meta's advertising platform, which means you can use it to retarget those same visitors with ads on Facebook and Instagram. Here's why this matters so much, especially for e-commerce. Imagine someone visits your online store, looks at a product, maybe even adds it to their cart, but then leaves without buying. Without Metapixel, that visitor is gone and you have no way to reach them again. But with Metapixel installed, Facebook knows that person showed interest in your product, so the next time they open Facebook, your ad for that exact product appears in their feed. That's retargeting, and Metapixel is what makes it possible.
To make this concrete, the instructor uses Daraz, a major e-commerce platform, as a real-world example. When you search for a product on Daraz and click on it, but don't buy it, Daraz's Metapixel records that action. Later, when you open Facebook, you'll see an ad for that exact product. This isn't a coincidence, it's Metapixel doing its job. And this is standard practice for any serious e-commerce business. The instructor points out that Daraz has Metapixel installed, which is exactly what you'd expect from a large-scale online store. Now, how do you actually know whether a website has Metapixel installed? There's a dedicated browser extension for exactly this. It's called the Metapixel Checker, and it's an official Facebook tool available in the Chrome Web Store. Once you install and pin it to your browser toolbar, you can visit any website, click the extension icon, and it will immediately tell you whether that site has a Metapixel installed. If it does, it shows you the pixel ID and even lists the events being tracked, things like page views, product views, and add to cart actions. The instructor demonstrates this live, showing that their own website has a Metapixel installed and displaying the actual pixel code ID.
Metapixel doesn't just track that someone visited your site, it tracks specific actions, called events. For example, it can record when someone views a product page, when they add something to their cart, when they start the checkout process, and when they actually complete a purchase. Each of these is a separate event, and each one gives you more precise data. The instructor shows this in the Pixel Checker tool. A website had 2 events set up, meaning it was tracking 2 distinct user actions. The more events you track, the more granular your retargeting can be. You can, for instance, specifically target people who added to cart but never purchased. Those are your warmest leads.
The instructor also connects Metapixel to a broader point about analytics and decision-making. Using their own platform, CodeIT, as an example, they show how website analytics reveal which courses are getting the most traffic. In the demo, the Flutter course and web development course were getting the most visits, with over 70 active users at that moment. This kind of data is incredibly valuable. If you know which product or course is attracting the most attention, you can make smarter decisions, like running ads specifically for that popular item, or investigating why a less visited page isn't performing. Data removes the guesswork from your marketing strategy. So how do you actually install Metapixel on your own website? The instructor walks through the process using WordPress. The recommended approach is to use a plugin called Pixel Your Site. You go to your WordPress dashboard, head to the plugin section, search for this plugin, install it, and activate it. Once it's active, you connect it to your Meta Business Suite account where your Pixel ID lives. After that connection is made, the Pixel starts working automatically. Every visitor to your site begins generating tracking data that feeds into your Meta advertising account. No manual code editing required. To bring it all together, let's look at the key benefits of Metapixel. First, and most importantly, retargeting. You can bring back visitors who showed interest but didn't convert. Second, audience optimization. Meta uses your pixel data to find more people who behave similarly to your existing customers. Third, performance measurement. You can see exactly which ads led to purchases or leads, so you know where your budget is actually working. And fourth, access to Meta's full suite of advertising products, which require pixel data to function at their best. For any e-commerce business or anyone running lead generation campaigns, Metapixel isn't optional. It's essential. One important point the instructor makes is that Metapixel and website integration is just one path. If you don't have a website or you choose not to use one for a particular campaign, you still have options. You can create a Facebook lead form directly within Meta's platform, where users fill out their contact details without ever leaving Facebook. You can also integrate WhatsApp, so when someone clicks your ad, it opens a WhatsApp conversation with your business directly. These are all legitimate professional approaches. The website plus pixel route gives you the richest data and the most authentic user behavior tracking, but it's not the only way to run effective campaigns. So at this point, the Metapixel concept has been fully covered, from what it is, to how it works, to how to install it and verify it's running. The next areas the course will move into include Google Ads, email marketing, and affiliate marketing, all covered practically with hands-on demonstrations. Before the next session, the task is clear. Install Meta Pixel on your own website using the Pixel Your Site plugin, verify it's working with the Meta Pixel Checker extension, and try running a test ad. Getting hands-on experience with this now will make everything that follows much easier to understand. So, picking up right where we left off, the first thing you need to do is head over to your website. Now, there's a plugin called Pixel Your Site, and if you haven't already installed it, that's your starting point. Go into your WordPress plugin section, search for it, download it, and once it's installed, make sure you hit Activate. That activation step is important. The plugin won't do anything until it's running on your site. Next, you need to go to your Meta Business Suite. This is the business account you already set up. In the example being shown here, the business is called Digital Spark. Once you're inside your business, scroll down the left sidebar. You'll find a section related to data, and from there, or by clicking the three-dot menu, you can access the Event Manager option. Clicking on it will open Event Manager in a new tab. Once Event Manager opens in a new tab, this is where you'll actually create your pixel. The process starts by connecting a new data source. You'll be asked what type of data source you want, and in this case, you select Web, because we're tracking activity on a website. Then click Next to continue. The next screen asks you to name your dataset. This is essentially the name for your pixel. In the example here, the name used is Spark Digital. Keep it simple and recognizable. You'll also be asked to choose a category. This tells Meta what kind of business or use case this pixel is for. The instructor chooses personal use here, but you should pick whatever best matches your actual business. If you're ever asked for verification later, having the right category selected makes that process smoother. After naming your dataset and selecting a category, you'll see the terms and conditions. You can read through them. It's always good practice. Then go ahead and click Create. Once that's done, your dataset is created, and you'll see a confirmation. The category selection isn't just a formality. If Meta ever asks you to verify your account or business, having the correct category already set makes that process much easier. After your dataset is created, Meta will ask how you want to install the pixel on your website. You have two main options. You can use a partner integration, which automates things through platforms like Shopify, or you can go manual. In this walkthrough, the manual route is chosen. This gives you full control and helps you understand exactly what's happening. So click on Manual, then hit Next. At one point during the setup, you'll be asked to select your location or region. Nepal isn't always listed as a standalone option, so you'll want to select Asia. Once you've selected Asia, go ahead and click Connect. This connects your dataset to the appropriate regional server and completes that part of the configuration. Now comes the key step. Meta will show you your pixel's base code. This is a snippet of JavaScript that needs to be placed on your website so Meta can track visitor activity. Click the Copy button to copy this entire code to your clipboard. Keep this code ready. You're about to paste it into your website's plugin settings. Now, go back to your WordPress website and open the Pixel Your Site plugin dashboard. Inside the plugin, you'll find a section for a MetaPixel. Turn it on using the toggle. You'll see two fields, one for the MetaPixel ID and one for the event code testing. Here's an important detail. You don't need to paste the entire code block here. From the full code that Meta gave you, you only need the Pixel ID, which is just the numeric identifier. That number alone is enough for the plugin to work correctly. When you look at the full pixel code that Meta provided, you'll see a line that says something like FBQ init, followed by a number in quotes. That number, that numeric string, is your pixel ID. That's all you need to copy and paste into the plugin's Meta Pixel ID field. The plugin handles everything else automatically, so don't be overwhelmed by the full code. Just extract that ID number and you're good to go. Once you've entered your pixel ID, also make sure your domain is correctly set. Then click Save. Your MetaPixel is now configured, but here's something worth knowing. The Pixel Your Site plugin isn't just for Meta. You can also add tracking codes for TikTok, Pinterest, Reddit, Microsoft Bing, and even Instagram from the same plugin dashboard. Google Analytics integration is also available, though that requires a premium version of the plugin. So this one plugin can serve as a central hub for all your tracking needs. After saving, refresh your website. Then go back to Meta Event Manager and check the status. You should see your pixel listed as active, and the pixel ID shown in Event Manager should match exactly what you entered in the plugin. In the example here, both sides show the same ID, 20A2603, confirming the connection is live. The instructor also uses a browser extension to verify the pixel is firing correctly on the website. Once you see that match, your pixel is officially connected and tracking.
Now that the pixel is live on your website, you need to connect it to your ad account inside Meta. Go to the dataset you created, Digital Spark in this case, and click on Set Up Integrations. From there, you can connect the pixel to your ad account, your Facebook page, and your Instagram account. Turn all of these on, then click Done. This is what allows your ad campaigns to actually use the pixel data for targeting and optimization.
Once everything is connected, your Event Manager dashboard becomes your window into what's happening on your website. You can see who visited, what pages they viewed, what actions they took. All of this gets tracked and displayed here. The data doesn't always appear instantly. It builds up gradually as visitors interact with your site. You'll see tabs for events, diagnostics, test events, and history. This is a powerful tool, and as your website gets more traffic, the insights here become increasingly valuable. From within Event Manager, you can also do two very powerful things. First, you can create custom conversions. These let you define specific actions on your website as conversion holes. For example, if someone fills out a form or visits a thank you page, you can count that as a conversion. Second, you can build lookalike audiences. Meta uses your pixel data to find new people who behave similarly to your existing website visitors. Both of these features are accessible directly from the Event Manager interface. Here's something that's really useful as your business grows. You're not limited to just one pixel. You can create multiple datasets, each with its own pixel, for different products, landing pages, or campaigns. If you have 10 products, you can have 10 separate pixels tracking each one independently. This gives you much more granular data, which in turn helps Meta's algorithm optimize your ads more precisely for each specific goal. This is a more advanced use case, but it's good to know it's available. Now, shifting to engagement metrics, this is how you measure whether your ads are actually working. Looking at a real example from this session, the campaign achieved a cost per result of just 90 cents. That means for every 90 cents spent, one person sent a message, which is a lead. The total spend shown is $3.23, and within that small budget, multiple messages were received. This kind of result comes from having a well-optimized ad, good copy, strong creative, and the right audience. The pixel data you've just set up is what powers this optimization over time. There's an important distinction worth clarifying here. When you boost a post directly from your Facebook page, it's a quick and simple way to get more likes, views, or reach. That's fine for brand awareness. But if you want actual sales, leads, or messages from potential customers, you need to run properly optimized ads through Ads Manager with your pixel connected. The pixel is what allows Meta to learn who your best customers are and show your ads to more people like them. Boosting is a starting point. Ads Manager with pixel tracking is the professional touch. With the Meta Pixel now set up and connected, you've built a solid foundation for data-driven advertising on Meta's platforms. But digital marketing doesn't stop there. Coming up next, the course moves into other major channels: Google Ads, which lets you reach people actively searching for what you offer, email marketing, which is one of the highest ROI channels available, and affiliate marketing, where you can earn by promoting other people's products or have others promote yours. Each of these will be covered practically, just like what we've been doing with Meta. Picking up right where we left off, let's walk through the actual process of setting up an ad campaign inside Meta Ads Manager. The first thing you do is go into your existing ad account and click to open Ads Manager. Once you're inside, you're going to create a new campaign. Now, the instructor here is demonstrating with a leads objective, but he makes an important point. Whether you choose leads, awareness, or engagement really depends on what your current business need is. If you need leads right now, go with leads. If you want people to know your brand, go with awareness. The key is to prioritize what matters most to you at this moment. The campaign name is something only you see. Clients don't see it, nobody else sees it. So just write something that makes sense to you personally. He uses shorthand like NL for his own reference. And when it comes to the campaign budget, he sets it up at the campaign level using campaign budget optimization, and he keeps it simple, working with just a few ad sets rather than creating dozens. For bidding type, always select high. That's a consistent recommendation throughout this session. Now, let's talk about the budget and bidding settings specifically. The instructor keeps things very lean here. He says you can absolutely work with as little as $2 a day when you're starting out. It doesn't matter much at this stage. What does matter is that you set your bidding type to high every single time. This tells Facebook's algorithm to prioritize getting you the best quality results. He also strongly advises skipping A/B testing when you're just getting started. A/B testing is a powerful tool, but it adds complexity, and at the beginning, you want to focus on understanding the basics first. Once you've configured these settings, just click Next and move on. The instructor emphasizes something really important here. You will not fully understand these settings just by watching or reading. You have to actually run campaigns yourself. Practical experience is what makes these concepts click. Before your campaign can run properly, you need to make sure your Instagram account is linked. The instructor points out that many people forget this step. There's an option inside the campaign setup to link Instagram, and you should do it. Next, and this is critical for anyone running a website-focused campaign, you need to connect your Meta Pixel, also called a data set inside the platform. The instructor references a pixel called Digital Spark that was created in a previous session. You'll see it appear in the dataset section, and you verify it by checking that the pixel number matches. Once you've confirmed the right pixel is selected, you set your conversion event to leads, because that's what you're optimizing for. This tells Facebook's algorithm exactly what action you want people to take on your website, and it uses that signal to find more people likely to do the same thing. Now we get into audience targeting, and this is where a lot of beginners make mistakes. The instructor is very clear. If you have a small budget, do not target all of Nepal. A $2 a day budget spread across the entire country will get you almost nothing. Instead, pick 3 or 4 specific locations where your service is actually relevant. He uses Kathmandu and a couple of nearby areas as an example. For interests, he's targeting people interested in websites, small businesses, social media marketing, travel booking, and similar topics, because the campaign is for a web design service. He adds a practical warning: don't stack too many interests. He recommends staying around 15 interest tags at most. More isn't always better. It can dilute your targeting. He also mentions unchecking the option that says reach more people like your best responders. For your very first campaign, it's okay to leave it checked, but once you have some data and experience, you should uncheck it so you have more precise control over who sees your ad. When it comes to where your ad actually shows up, the instructor recommends keeping it to Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and Audience Network. He specifically says do not send your ads to Threads, at least not right now. The reasoning is straightforward. The more placements you choose, the more your budget gets spread across different surfaces. With a small budget, you want concentration, not dilution. He does note that your ad will technically appear across around 8 different platform surfaces: Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, feeds, and so on. And he encourages you to use the advanced preview feature to check how your ad looks on each one before you publish. He found that the Instagram placement had a slight formatting issue in his example, while everything else looked fine. Always preview before you go live. Now we get to the part that arguably matters most: your ad creative. The instructor is very direct here. The quality of your creative determines the quality of your results. A great audience with a bad creative will still underperform, so take this seriously. For the image, you upload it through the media section. If you don't have a design ready, he recommends Canva. You can use templates and build something professional looking quickly. He also mentions that he'll share a form with students to help them get started with design resources. For the copy, you write your primary text, the main message of your ad. Then you set your call to action button. He uses examples like apply now, sign up, or learn more. In his demo, the headline reads, "Learn a powerful skill in days." Short, punchy, and benefit-driven. He also recommends turning on the AI enhancement option, which lets Facebook automatically optimize your creative for different placements. It adjusts sizing and formatting so your ad looks good everywhere it appears. This is one of the most important structural concepts in this entire session, the meta campaign structure. Let's break it down clearly. At the top level, you have your ad account. Inside that account, you create campaigns. Each campaign has one objective. For example, one campaign for engagement, another for leads. Inside each campaign, you can have multiple ad sets, and inside each ad set, you can have multiple individual ads. So the hierarchy is ad account, campaign, ad sets, ads. The instructor demonstrates this by opening an existing engagement campaign and showing that it contains 2 ad sets. Each ad set can then hold different creatives. Maybe one ad set has an image ad, another has a video ad, and a third has social proof content. He recommends keeping it to 5 or 6 ad sets maximum in the Nepal market specifically, because competition and bidding costs are relatively high. Going beyond that can spread your budget too thin and hurt performance. So why would you want multiple ad sets inside one campaign? The instructor explains this really well. Think about it this way. Different people respond to different types of content. Some people will click on a clean image ad. Others need to see a video to feel convinced. And others are most persuaded by social proof, testimonials, screenshots of results, client reviews. By running multiple ad sets with different creative formats inside the same campaign, you're essentially testing which approach works best for your specific audience. And here's the powerful part. Once you identify which creative is winning, you can put more budget behind it. The instructor says this kind of structured testing can lead to 3 times, 5 times, or even more growth in your sales. He also makes a point that's worth paying attention to. Most advertisers in Nepal are not doing this. Very few people are running campaigns with this level of structure and intentionality. That means if you learn and apply this, you have a significant competitive advantage. The instructor draws a really useful distinction here between the ad set level and the ad level. These are 2 different layers of the campaign structure, and they control different things. The ad set level is where you control who sees your ad, your audience targeting, your budget, your schedule, your placements. The ad level is where you control what they see, the image or video, the headline, the copy, the call to action. He gives a clear recommendation. In your first and second campaigns, keep things simple. Don't try to experiment with too many variables at once. But by your third campaign, you should be focusing your experimentation specifically at the ad creative level, testing different images, different headlines, different hooks. That's where the real optimization happens once you have some baseline data. Think of it this way. Ad set answers the question, who sees this? And ad answers the question, what do they see? For lead generation campaigns specifically, the instructor walks through setting up an instant form. This is the form that pops up directly inside Facebook or Instagram when someone clicks your ad. They never have to leave the app. That's a huge advantage because it reduces friction. The form can be pre-filled with the user's Facebook profile data, which makes it even easier for people to submit. You create the form right inside the campaign setup. There's a Create Form option under the Instant Form section. You customize what fields you want to collect: name, phone number, email, whatever's relevant to your business. You can also add a thank you screen at the end. The instructor also mentions connecting WhatsApp as a follow-up destination, so leads can immediately start a conversation with you. One important metric to watch before you publish: your audience quality score. He recommends aiming for 90 or above. If it's lower, revisit your targeting and creative settings. Now, let's talk about the numbers, because this is where everything becomes real. The instructor shares actual results from a campaign he ran. The cost per result was 90 cents per message. That means for every 90 cents spent, he received 1 message from a potential customer. The total number of messages received was approximately 4,093. The total amount spent on the campaign was around $3,223. Now, here's where the business perspective becomes powerful. The product being sold was priced at 1 lakh Nepali rupees. That's 100,000 rupees per sale. If even 10% of those 4,000 leads converted into paying customers, that's roughly 400 sales. Multiply 400 by 1 lakh, and you're looking at an enormous return on a relatively small ad spend. The instructor uses this example to make a very clear point. Facebook advertising, when done properly, is one of the biggest opportunities available in Nepal right now. The cost of reaching people is still relatively low, and the potential returns are massive. Let's bring together the core ideas from everything covered in this session. First, always choose your campaign objective based on what your business actually needs right now. Don't just pick one randomly. Second, you don't need a big budget to start. $2 a day is enough to get real data and learn. Third, structure your campaigns properly. 1 campaign per objective, 2 to 5 ad sets inside, and multiple ad creatives to test. Fourth, your creative is the single biggest lever you have. A great image and compelling copy will outperform a mediocre creative every single time, regardless of how good your targeting is. Fifth, be specific with your location targeting. Spreading a small budget across all of Nepal is a waste. Pick the cities where your customers actually are. And sixth, always track your numbers. Cost per result, total spend, and conversion rate are the 3 metrics that tell you whether your campaign is working or not. And above all, the instructor says this repeatedly, you will not truly understand any of this until you actually run campaigns yourself. Get in there, make mistakes, learn from the data, and improve. That's the only path to mastery. Continuing from where we left off, let's now look at how to actually build a Facebook Instant Form for your lead generation campaign. This is one of the most powerful tools Facebook offers for collecting leads directly inside the platform without sending users to an external website. The form has several distinct sections, and each one plays an important role in making the experience feel professional and trustworthy. The first step is straightforward. Inside your Facebook ad campaign, you navigate to the Form section and click Create Form. You then select the Instant Form option. What makes this special is that the form opens right inside Facebook. The user never has to leave the app, which dramatically reduces friction and increases the chance they'll actually fill it out. This is what makes instant forms so effective for lead generation. The first section of the form is the intro. This is your chance to immediately communicate what the user is going to get. In the example being discussed, the intro headline reads something like, "Get a free website audit." This tells the visitor exactly what they're signing up for. You should use this space to briefly describe your business and the specific value or offer you're presenting. Think of it as your elevator pitch, short, clear, and compelling. Next comes the questions section. This is where you collect the actual lead information. The standard fields are name, email address, and phone number. One of the biggest advantages of Facebook Instant Forms is that Facebook automatically pre-fills these fields using the user's profile data. That means the user barely has to type anything, which significantly reduces the chance they'll abandon the form halfway through. The advice here is to keep your questions minimal. Only ask for what you truly need. Now, here's something critically important that many beginners overlook: the privacy policy field. This is not optional. Facebook requires you to include a link to your privacy policy before it will allow you to create and publish the form. If you skip this, Facebook simply will not let you proceed. The privacy policy link should point to a page on your own website that explains how you handle user data. If you don't have a dedicated privacy policy page, you can create one, but you must have something there. This is a non-negotiable requirement from Facebook's side. So where do you get this privacy policy link? The simplest approach is to use your own website. Navigate to your privacy policy page, copy that URL, and paste it into the form builder. In the example being shown, the instructor uses their own website link, something like digitalnepal.com, as the privacy policy URL. You could also temporarily use a Facebook group link or page link, but that's not ideal. The best practice is to have a proper privacy policy page on your own website and link directly to it. Facebook may actually review this link, so make sure it's real and accessible. After the questions, there's one more important section, the thank you screen. This is what the user sees immediately after they hit submit. It's your final touch point inside the form experience, so don't leave it as a generic default. Customize it with a warm thank you message, let them know what happens next, for example, we'll be in touch within 24 hours, and optionally add a call to action button that takes them to your website or a specific landing page. It's a small detail, but it leaves a professional impression. Once you've filled in all the sections, the intro, questions, privacy policy, and thank you screen, you simply click Publish. That makes your form live and ready to be attached to your ad. But there's one more thing you need before your campaign can actually run: a payment card. You need to add a valid credit or debit card to your Facebook ad account. When adding the card, make sure you select the correct country, in this case, Nepal. Without a payment method on file, Facebook will not run your ads, no matter how well built your form is. Before you go live, it's a good idea to preview your form. Facebook gives you a preview panel right inside the form builder that shows exactly how the form will appear to a user on their mobile device. Check that the intro text looks right, the fields are correct, and the overall flow makes sense. You can also duplicate the form if you want to create slightly different versions for testing. This is useful if you want to experiment with different headlines or question sets to see which one performs better. Now, let's shift to a really important business perspective, understanding how your product's price relates to your ad spend and results. The example being discussed here is a real campaign. The product being sold was priced at 1 lakh rupees. That's 100,000 rupees. The campaign was an engagement campaign, and it generated 93 messages in total. Now, think about that for a moment. You have a product worth 1 lakh, and your ad brought in 93 potential buyers reaching out to you. Let's break down the math. If you divide the total amount spent on the ad by 93, you get your cost per message. In this example, the cost per message was extremely low. That means each potential lead cost only a tiny fraction of what the product is actually worth. This is the fundamental logic behind paid advertising for high-ticket products. You spend a small amount to attract people who are interested, and even if only a fraction of them convert, the revenue far outweighs the ad spend. Here's where it gets really interesting. Even if only 1% of those 93 messages converted into an actual sale, that's roughly 1 customer. The revenue from that single sale is 1 lakh rupees. Compare that to the small amount spent on the ad, and your return is already 4 times or more what you invested. This is the core principle of high-ticket product advertising. You don't need a high conversion rate to be profitable. Because the product value is so high, even a tiny conversion rate generates a massive return. This is why understanding your product's price point is so critical when designing your ad strategy. This brings up a broader strategic point. The logic of how much to spend on ads and what results to expect is deeply tied to your product's price. If you're selling a low-ticket item, say something worth 500 rupees, you need a very high volume of conversions just to break even on your ad spend. But if you're selling a high-ticket product worth 1 lakh or more, even a single conversion can justify an entire month of ad spend. So when you're planning your campaigns, always think about your product's price first. It determines how aggressive you can be with your budget and what conversion rate you actually need to be profitable. Continuing from where we left off, once you've accepted the privacy policy and clicked through the thank you confirmation, the next thing to do is simply hit publish. Now, after publishing, your ad won't run until you've added a payment card. Adding a card is straightforward, but there are a few critical things to get right. First, when selecting your country, make sure you choose Nepal. And for currency, this is very important. Always keep it set to USD, that is US dollars. If you accidentally select a different currency, you'll run into conversion complications that can be a real headache, so stick with USD. Then enter your cardholder name, your card number, and finally your CVV number. Once you save all of that, your ad is live and published. That's it, the whole process is done. Now that you've seen the full process, the most important thing is to go and practice on your own. You have time, take it seriously, and actually go through the steps yourself. And don't worry if you're just starting out with a small budget. Even $10 to $20 is enough to begin growing your business using this method. If you run into any problems, don't hesitate to ask for help. Additionally, Meta Pixel check links will be shared with you. These are useful for verifying your Pixel setup and seeing how other companies are using it. Also, CapCut Pro access will be sent to your email. Once you accept the notification, your account automatically upgrades to Pro, so keep an eye on your inbox. A great question that comes up often is, what's the difference between boosting a post and running a proper ad campaign through Ads Manager? Let's break it down clearly. Boosting a post is the simpler option. When you post something on Facebook and see that boost button, you can click it, set a dollar amount, choose a location, and you're done. It's quick, requires no technical knowledge, and is great if your only goal is to grow your page or get more visibility. However, it comes with significant limitations. You don't get detailed targeting, you can't track conversions or leads properly, and you have no real idea about your return on investment. On the other hand, running a full ad campaign through Ads Manager is a professional level tool. You get detailed audience targeting, conversion tracking, lead generation capabilities, full ROI metrics, custom bidding strategies, and even AI-powered optimization. If you want to build a real strategy for traffic, sales, leads, or funnel building, Ads Manager is the way to go. So when should you use each one? Think of it this way. If your only goal is to get more people to see your page, get some comments and shares, and build a basic audience, then boosting a post is perfectly fine. It's easy, it's fast, and anyone can do it without any technical background. But if you're serious about growing a business, if you want to track leads, optimize for sales, build a customer funnel, or retarget people who've already interacted with your brand, then you need to be an Ads Manager. Both options let you control your budget flexibly, but Ads Manager gives you a level of precision and insight that Boost simply cannot match. The recommendation here is clear. For anyone who wants real results and is willing to spend a little time learning, run your campaigns through Ads Manager. Here's a secret strategy worth paying close attention to. In Ads Manager, you're not locked into spending the same amount every single day. You can actually set rules that tell Facebook exactly how to spend your budget based on the day or the results you're getting. For example, you might say, on regular weekdays, only spend $2 per day. But on Saturday, when your audience is more active and more likely to convert, spend $7 to $10. And you can even tie spending to results. Only spend more when leads are actually coming in. This kind of custom bidding and budgeting strategy is what separates amateur advertisers from professionals. It's an advanced feature inside Ads Manager, and it's incredibly powerful for maximizing the return on every dollar you spend. Now let's talk about Instant Forms. This is a feature inside Facebook ads that lets you collect lead information directly within Facebook, without sending users to an external website. When someone sees your ad and clicks the call to action button, a form pops up right there on Facebook, asking for their name, phone number, email, or whatever fields you've set up. The user fills it out and submits, and that data comes straight to you. You can download this lead data or connect it to tools like Google Sheets for easy management. You can also add a WhatsApp link or a call button to your ad, so users can contact you directly. These connection options are available in the ad setup. You just need to connect your WhatsApp account or verify your phone number, and it's ready to go. Once your Instant Form campaign is running and people are submitting their information, you can go into Ads Manager and view all that lead data in a table format. You'll see each lead's name, phone number, email, and when they submitted the form. One thing to be aware of, this data can load quite slowly on the desktop version of Ads Manager. It tends to load much faster through the mobile app, so if you're in a hurry to check your leads, use your phone. To give you a real-world example, one campaign run for a class enrollment generated around 27 leads. Out of those, approximately 6 people actually converted and joined the class, and this was achieved with a very small budget, just a few dollars. That's the power of even a basic, well-set-up campaign. Let's talk about one of the most important concepts in digital advertising, conversion rate optimization. Looking at real numbers from an actual campaign, the total spend was just $4, which generated 591 impressions and a cost per result of 50 cents. Now here's where it gets exciting. If even 1% of those people convert, meaning they actually buy something, sign up, or take the desired action, your investment has already multiplied 4 to 5 times over. You're profitable. The goal is to keep pushing that cost per result down. Getting it to 50 cents or below is considered excellent performance. And when you look at the class enrollment example, 27 leads came in, 6 converted. That's a meaningful conversion rate from a tiny budget. For a business that needed 100 students, getting 591 engagements and converting even 10% of those would mean massive revenue, potentially hundreds of thousands of rupees in profit from a very small ad spend.
This is the core insight that makes Facebook advertising so powerful for small businesses. With just $4, a campaign reached nearly 600 people. 27 of them filled out the lead form. 6 of those became actual paying customers. Now imagine scaling that up slightly. If a client wanted 100 students for their class and the campaign is already delivering this kind of efficiency, you don't need a massive budget. You need a smart strategy. By optimizing the creative, meaning the images, videos, and copy in your ad, and refining your targeting, you can push more people through each stage of the funnel. The key takeaway here is that it's not about how much you spend, it's about how efficiently you spend it. Even $10 to $20 used strategically can generate real, measurable business growth.
Before we move on, there's one more tool that deserves emphasis, the Facebook Ad Library. This is a free, publicly accessible tool that Facebook provides, and it's incredibly valuable for research. You can search for any brand, business, or competitor and see every single ad they are currently running. You can look at their creative, the images and videos they're using, their messaging, their offers, and how long they've been running a particular ad. If an ad has been running for a long time, that's a strong signal that it's working. Use this as inspiration and research before you build your own campaigns. It helps you understand what's resonating in your market without spending a single dollar on testing. Make it a habit to spend time in the ad library. It's one of the most underused tools available to advertisers.
As you get more comfortable with Ads Manager, you'll start scaling your campaigns by running multiple ad sets and multiple individual ads simultaneously. In practice, experienced advertisers often run 6 or more ad sets, each targeting a slightly different audience, and within each ad set, they'll have 12 or 13 different ad creatives being tested. Why? Because Facebook's algorithm will automatically identify which combination of audience and creative is performing best, and it will allocate more of your budget toward those winning combinations. This is how you move from basic advertising to truly optimized, data-driven marketing. You don't need to start here, but as you grow more confident, this is the direction to move toward. For now, focus on mastering the fundamentals, and the advanced scaling will follow naturally.
The most advanced concept touched on here is the idea of a full funnel strategy. Rather than running a single ad and hoping for the best, a full funnel approach means you have different ads targeting people at different stages of their journey with your brand. At the top of the funnel, you're reaching brand new people, building awareness. In the middle, you're retargeting people who've already seen your content or visited your page, nurturing their interest. At the bottom, you're hitting people who are ready to buy with a direct offer or lead form. And after conversion, you use custom audiences to retain those customers and bring them back. Each stage has its own objective, its own creative style, and its own budget. This is a dedicated topic that deserves its own full class, and it's described as one of the most powerful strategies in digital marketing. For now, understand that this is where the journey leads as you advance your skills.
Let's talk about something that comes up a lot when you're working with Facebook lead ads, and that's access tokens. So what exactly is an access token? Think of it as a digital key. When someone fills out a lead form on Facebook, submitting their name, phone number, email, Facebook doesn't just hand that data over automatically. You need an access token to retrieve it and bring it into your own systems. Access tokens serve a very specific purpose. They authenticate your request to Facebook's system. When you run a lead generation campaign and people fill out your form, that data sits on Facebook servers. The access token is what allows you to say, "Hey Facebook, I have permission, give me that data." And importantly, Facebook provides access tokens not just for lead forms, but also for Ad Manager, meaning you can pull performance data as well.
Now, here's where it gets interesting. When you get the access token for a Facebook lead form, it can do one of two things. At a basic level, it just gives you a direct link. You can open the form data inside Facebook itself. But the more powerful use case, and what the instructor was exploring, is whether you can take that access token and use it to pipe your lead data directly into a Google Sheet. That way, every time someone fills out your form, their details land automatically in your spreadsheet. That's a huge time saver for any marketer managing leads at scale. There are actually two distinct types of access tokens worth knowing about here. The first is the Ad Manager Access Token. This is what you'd use if you want to pull campaign performance metrics, reporting data, and so on. The instructor recalled seeing a page management option within the access token settings, which is tied to this. The second type is the Lead Form Access Token. This one is specifically for retrieving the contact information that people submit through your Facebook lead forms. Each serves a different purpose, and Facebook issues both. One practical observation that came up in the discussion, and this is something you might notice yourself, is that the same data can load at very different speeds depending on where you're viewing it. Through the mobile app, data tends to appear quickly, but on the desktop dashboard or web interface, that same data can feel noticeably slow. It's the same underlying dataset, just accessed differently. This is worth keeping in mind when you're checking your campaign results or lead data in real time. Now, let's shift to the broader marketing strategy discussion. One of the most important decisions you make when running Facebook ads is choosing the right campaign objective. And the instructor is very clear here. There is no one-size-fits-all answer. The right objective depends entirely on your business type, your product, and your price point. The three main ones to understand are engagement, sales or conversions, and leads, and each has a specific use case. Engagement campaigns are the instructor's go-to for a wide range of businesses, especially in the Nepali market. If you're selling clothing online, small consumer products, or anything where customers want to ask questions before buying, engagement is your best bet. The goal of an engagement campaign is to get people to interact, to comment, message, and inquire. Once they understand the product, they're much more likely to convert. And because engagement campaigns tend to be more affordable, they're great for businesses working with smaller budgets. Sales or conversion campaigns are powerful, but the instructor is careful about when to use them. His rule is simple. Only run a sales campaign if you already know the product sells. If there is guaranteed demand, you build a dedicated landing page for that specific product, run the ad to that page, and optimize for conversions. This is the full sales funnel approach. For example, if you're selling software, you'd send people to a landing page designed specifically to convert them. But if you're not sure whether the product will sell, don't start with sales campaigns. Start with engagement to test the waters first. Lead generation campaigns are best suited for service-based businesses, where each client is worth a significant amount. Think dentists, consultants, coaches, anyone where a single client relationship brings in real revenue. In these cases, you want to collect contact information directly and follow up personally. However, and this is an important nuance, if your service is priced very low, say 500 to 700 rupees per client, then a leads campaign may not make financial sense. The cost per lead might outweigh the revenue from each client. In that scenario, engagement is actually the smarter choice. Here's a quick reference to help you match your business type to the right campaign objective. Online clothing stores and small product businesses, go with engagement. If you have a software product or something with proven demand, build a landing page and run a sales campaign. Dentists and consultants, use leads or a landing page funnel. New businesses that need to build awareness, start with awareness or engagement campaigns. And for very low-ticket services, stick with engagement because the cost of a leads campaign simply won't justify the revenue per client. The key takeaway is, know your niche, then choose accordingly. One more critical point the instructor emphasizes, especially for product-based campaigns, is the importance of ad copy. When you're running ads for a specific product, the copy you write is one of the most powerful levers you have. A well-crafted message that speaks directly to your audience's needs and desires can dramatically improve your results. On the flip side, even a great product with weak copy will underperform, so invest time in writing your ad copy carefully. It's one of the most controllable variables in your entire campaign. This is a point that goes beyond just running ads. It's about how you position yourself as a digital marketer. The instructor makes it very clear. You can't just focus on the technical side of things. You need to understand the business perspective and be able to present it to potential clients. If you can walk into a meeting and show someone, look, by spending this amount on ads, here's the profit you can expect. That's what gets people to commit. The example given is straightforward.
Spending $4 and generating profitable conversions is a story any business owner can understand. Learn to speak the language of profit, and clients will be ready to work with you.
Let's bring everything together. First, access tokens are your gateway to pulling Facebook lead data into tools like Google Sheets. Understand how they work and use them to automate your lead management. Second, always match your campaign objective to your specific business situation. Engagement for small products and inquiries, sales campaigns for proven products with landing pages, and leads campaigns for high-value service businesses. Third, never underestimate the power of your ad copy. It's one of the biggest drivers of results. And finally, think like a business person, not just a marketer. When you can show a client exactly how digital marketing translates into profit, that's when you become truly valuable. Practice these strategies, apply them to real campaigns, and keep refining based on results.